Hello, ladies. I hope that your day is going well and struggle love free. In this video, I want to talk about when the spirit of desperation goes wrong, looking for love in all the wrong places, and how to avoid falling into this matrix. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time that I upload a new video. The spirit of desperation is one that we want to ardently avoid because when we are in a state of desperation, it can lead us into some very dangerous liaisons, relationships that are detrimental to us, that are not beneficial, that are very problematic and can bring us turmoil, pain, stress, drama, and or trauma. It's important for us to not be in a state of scarcity mindset where we believe that we first need a relationship to be worthy, to have worth, to have value, and that concurrently that any relationship will do, just so that we can say we're in a relationship. So we're in a mindset where we believe that there is a low probability of us being in a relationship that fits our goals, that meets our standard and criteria. So what we do is we acquiesce to a substandard relationship, and we are driven and fueled by a catalyst of being desperate. There can be a pick-me spirit at work as well, but we are feeling desperate. And we have a sense of low self-esteem. We have a low self-esteem, but also not feeling like we are able to acquire a relationship that really meets our standards, has boundaries in place, has firm criteria, and where we are not abdicating what we truly want in a relationship and what is best for us. So with this spirit of desperation, if it's operating in us, what we will find is that when we enter into a relationship, when we see red flags, when we see stop signs, we will override them because we have this desperation to be in a relationship by any means necessary, no matter what the cost. Whether it means compromising our mental health, our spiritual health, our physical health, our finances, our stability. So we can enter into a very chaotic status because of a relationship that really should have never made it out of the starting gate, a relationship that we should have never engaged in. But because we have the spirit of desperation operating within us, it is going to drive us to say yes to a relationship that should have never met our approval. And that is why it's so very important that if we have wounds, if we have not been healed from past traumas or feelings of low self-esteem, where we don't feel that we have worth, where we don't know our value, that we address that, and that we address it far before we even think about venturing into a relationship. Because if we are not healed from a pick-me spirit or a spirit of desperation, then we can enter into these relationships that really are ultimately going to be a huge problem for us. They are going to cause us to detour. We may have seen this or experienced it ourselves, where we have a relationship on the horizon, where we have a relationship possibility, and where we have already begun to see things that are steering us away from the relationship, but we override those red flags because we're tired of being told that something must be wrong with us if we're not in a relationship, or what is wrong with us, or we're wanting to be able to check a box. We want to fit in. We feel pressure from others. We feel pressure from ourselves. We feel pressured to be in a relationship and to feel like we are validated by being in a relationship. Maybe we're tired of being the only single person in our crew, in our group, of feeling like we're the only one of our age bracket, of our group of friends that's not in a serious relationship. Or maybe we're feeling pressure from our family. And so we enter into this relationship, even though we should be hesitating, even though we should be vacillating, even though we should be sidestepping this relationship and avoiding it. Instead, we walk into this relationship, and it's a relationship that may have a form of abuse. It may be one-sided, non-reciprocal. It may present any litany of issues from the beginning, where the man we're engaging with is feeling entitled, where he does not reciprocate our feelings, where he expects loyalty and faithfulness from us, but does not do the same in kind. It may be a relationship that's very problematic financially because we're being expected to give loans or help out financially, and this is becoming a recurrent pattern. This is an ongoing issue where he is not financially stable and we are expected to prop him up financially. It could be an issue where there is emotional abuse, there could be cheating, there could be just the lack of concern for us. There is a lack of engagement from his part. There is a lack of really recognizing our worth and our value. So taking us for granted at the end of the day, taking us for granted and not appreciating us, not valuing us as we should be. So the spirit of desperation will not only be a catalyst to get into these problematic relationships, but to remain in it, whether it be to save face or to continue to get that facade of validation by being in a relationship where we're really looking for love in all the wrong places, a relationship that's really never going to assuage our feelings of inadequacy or a feeling that we're not good enough, our low self-esteem. It will really never address that. Matter of fact, it will exacerbate. It will exacerbate all of the negative feelings we already feel. So it's very important that we know ourselves enough to know what is driving us to want to be in a relationship. Are we in a healthy space? Are we in a space where we have firm boundaries, standards, criteria, where we will not let those be cast to the side just for the sake of being in a relationship? It's important that we know ourselves and know what state we're in at that moment that we're looking to enter into a relationship. Are we vulnerable? Are we in a vulnerable state where we would compromise our expectations and our standards just to be in that relationship? Because we may have previously thought that we had a standard, and then when we met a man who did not meet it, we may quickly acquiesce to overriding that barrier to the relationship that we previously liked to believe was firm, that was set in stone, as it were. But it's not, because even stronger than that standard is this sense of desperation. And it may not be conscious, it may be subconscious, but it's there, it's evident. And because of that, we become embroiled and entangled in a relationship that ultimately is not going to serve us. There are women that always had a standard about not dating a man who had been convicted of a felony or felonies. And then when she met a particular man, she overrode that standard. It may have been that she said, I don't want to, previously, she said, I don't want to be involved with a man who has multiple children by multiple women. But then she met this man, and there she goes, throwing that standard down by the wayside. So there may be any number of different standards that have previously been created as a hedge against what we could see would be a problem or just would not meet the standard of what we want for a relationship. But if we're not firm, if we are not serious about this, if we are not undeterred by anything, any possible relationship coming our way, and no matter how good the man may look, no matter how charming he may be, etc., if we're not firm, if we're not resolute in having that standard, if we allow desperation to creep in, we can override what was our goal and our vision for a relationship. And ultimately, it can become very problematic for us. And it may not take a long period of time. It may happen in a very short window of time that we begin to regret the relationship. But again, that desperation can cause us to want to remain in that relationship and to continue in it and persist in it when it's not serving us, when it's not healthy, functional, reciprocal, when it doesn't benefit us, when it's not an asset but it's a liability. When we're going into a relationship, it's so important to be taking our time and doing the vetting and the screening. Now, a spirit of desperation will tell us to override that. But that's why it's important for us to know that we are free from that spirit so that we can take our time, perform our due diligence, do the vetting, and find out, is the man we're meeting, is this truly him, or is he sending his representative? And that's what anyone in a relationship should be doing, is to do the vetting. So it's important that we're not in a rush mode. We're not being love bombed, gaslighted into rushing into a relationship. And we're not rushing ourselves because of a spirit of desperation living within us, where we will start looking for love in all the wrong places, where we can really take our time and determine, assess, and ascertain, is this man relationship worthy and relationship ready, spiritually sound, financially sound, emotionally stable, with emotional intelligence? Is he someone that's reliable, responsible? Is he loyal? Does he reciprocate? Does he have goals and a vision for his life? Is he someone who has agency, he believes, rather than stating that everything in his life that's gone wrong has always been something happening to him and everything in his life has been out of control, which is a major red flag? Is he someone who we can count on and rely on? Is he someone who his word is his bond? He's truthful. He's reliable. Is he transparent? Will we not have to worry about him saying one thing and doing another, or finding out that what he has said is untruthful, or he's hedging the truth? Very important for us to find this out and find it out in advance of embarking on a relationship. So if we are in a place where we have been healed of past traumas, where we are in a place of confidence, where we know our worth, we know our value, we know that God has purpose for us, and we make sure that we are aligning with a man who will not cause us to detour or deviate from our purpose, then we don't feel pressed, thirsty, desperate, or have a pick-me spirit operating within us, where we rush into a relationship that ultimately will not benefit us or enhance our life. Let me know what you think in the comments beneath the video. As always, be blessed, continue to level up, stay far away from the spirit of desperation and looking for love in all the wrong places, because you deserve better.